Mermaids Tales, read by the author of this story in an book of short stories, Lord Lilly Loved Toast, by Miss Julie Amanda Longley. Joolz. Mermaids Tales, page 102, published by Author House, Indiana, USA. Mermaids Tales. Once every blue moon, when the tide's out, the mermaids can become human women once every 50 lifetimes. This is the only time Neptune will try and capture one for his bride, as they are not as swift without their mermaid's scaly tail. They decided to swim to the next cove, and as they swam so fast they left enough whirlpools to A. cover their tracks, and B. send any unwanted followers in a different direction. Time was running away with them. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to feel the ocean breeze through human legs. They may not like it, of course, but curiosity is as curiosity does. It drove them, impelled them to discover this new sensation. The moon was ominously unstoppable as the wind blew the clouds onwards on their own journey, lighting up the cove's white sand glowing in the night light. As the clouds parted, Edwina looked at Sapporo briefly and couldn't help admiring the way she flicked her tail through the sea's choppy white bubbly surf. She noticed this was always when she was happy, swimming near the top of the ocean, not so much when they lived under the water. Edwina had a strange, sad feeling that she had never had before, and knew she would have to make a big decision that night. There on the beach was the old, wise mare, White Star, now not the old nag in the field. With the spirit of ecstasy and the tides changing on this magical night, she transformed into a true self, the unicorn she was within. Lots of sparkly dust emanated not just from her inner being, but from the special effects department. She triumphantly rose onto her hind legs and gave a full belly busting neigh. This gave the swimming mermaids that vital bit of last-minute reserve energy to make it the last half mile to shore. As this was a once every 50 lifetimes event, some pizzas had been ordered in advance. Then the magic could begin. They had hired an all-lady band so they could dance their socks off. Some new dresses had been ordered, and it was warm enough to spend the night on the beach. To begin the transformation, they just needed to all climb into some human-sized shells and wait. Neptune hadn't quite given up just yet, and was down in his dungeon, in the pits of miserable existence, contemplating how he could steal Edwina. We'll change the delivery order to they booked in advance and got a special offer with the organic veggie van. Turn page, part 2. The seagulls did a Hell's Angel style flyby, ducking and diving wildly and loudly. The bats flew out of the cove. The owls whistled and all arranged themselves in symmetrical circles around the shells. The process was quicker than they imagined. The mermaids liked the abalone-style interior of the changing shell. For half an hour they experienced complete refreshment, relaxation and release. A storm started to brew. This was good news because the negative ions caused by all the turbulent water sent the shells on superpower. The mermaids had 1 week of woman power to save humankind from selfish, twisted, dissatisfied delusion. They also wanted to have some fun too. So, party legs on and spiral sequin frocks on. They rocked and rocked until they dropped. Frog rock, tequila, shots, and a big breakfast, followed by seaweed on rye cracker for breakfast, and off they shot. First, they blew away the houses of PMT, First, they blew away the houses of premenstrual tension. First, they blew away the Houses of Parliament with one united big breath of sea, ocean, air. They also decided there needed to be a new wave of world consciousness. Neptune saw the shells on the beach and thought, well, here's my chance. He activated the serpent Cecilia to guard the ocean in his absence and followed the wheelchair grooves in the sand till he found them in GAY. He got a job as a bartender and got promoted to manager, fell in love with Guy, and he lived happily out forever. What Sapporo needed to do next, far more nerve-wracking than the sea change, was tell Edwina how she felt. I feel nothing. My heart turned to stone in the shell. Edwina was upset and exhausted herself, running through the night lanes and glistening deer paths, through the fields and clouds and mists of time running away. Time running away, running out and running thin. Running was something she realised was very liberating, and it powered her inner being and recharged her batteries. The emotions were stamping and thundering into the earth. She couldn't take it anymore and fell on a heap of fresh-cut grass. She was looking for an answer outside to this dilemma, but we all know the answers we seek are within, and the solution never as far away as we fear. But sometimes we just need a sign from the universe. She looked at the stars for the first time, and her mind expanded to the size of planet Neptune. This still did not answer her dilemma. Was she to spend her life with Sapporo? Was it love? They only kissed that night. So we all, I guess, know love takes hard work, or does it? Her heart was torn, love of the ocean, familiar, strong, and all she had ever known of love, or a new feeling of being loved and cherished. She couldn't explain it, and she couldn't rein it or take it. That smile was something out of nature's purse, something no time or spell could reverse. Then she remembered the bloomin' curse, quote, "If 3 days on land you'll be banned, you'll never see a tiny fish, you'll never get your wish, your beautiful Sapporo you'll never kiss." It was 2 days on land she had to fly. It was the underworld she had to choose. But does she explain to Sapporo or just disappear? She knew instantly that wasn't the done thing to leave without explanation. But Sapporo liked to chant and chat, and she had to get back to the changing shell. Turn page. Time was of the essence. She left a note with a friendly squirrel to deliver to Sapporo. At least if Edwina was alive, even as a mermaid, they would have some chance to meet occasionally. If Sapporo chose to live as human, first light, and with the rising red sun behind her, Edwina raced to the Freshers' Cove and dived into the shell, and with the force of a mind made up and no turning back, the shell rolled into the ocean and filled up with water like a bath. There was something Sapporo hadn't told Edwina. She had feelings for Neptune. Ever since he had bravely saved her life from a hungry sea serpent, he gallantly chased the serpent away and scared him off with a twirl of his water wand. Never underestimate the magic of a water wand. Some discard them in charity shops. Point the arrow at the earth. It won't miss. Just pull with all your might. Throw yourself at the universe and it will hold you. There's nothing to say without emotion, as she liked Edwina, but there was a habitual magnetic pull which kept her having a quick side glance in all the gay bars to see if Neptune was working there. There was only one thing for it, run away. She booked a ferry to Skegness, and after 3 days of the discounted holiday, she got a job as a chambermaid. She worked her butt off. This effort didn't go unnoticed by the chalet manageress, Shell. Sapporo sent word to Edwina that she would be able to swim to the docks on Tuesday the 12th of August. Edwina forgot about Neptune, forgot about anything. She rescheduled her relationship counselling, her GP and her friend Carol. She also did some retail therapy and took up jogging again. She bought a jogging outfit, some lipstick, a dress and some presents for Edwina the mermaid. It didn't go as planned. Edwina got caught in a tuna net and died. This was when, tragically, Sapporo really, fully realised how much she meant to her. Every time she had chosen someone else, or to be on land, or to have half her heart somewhere else, Now there she was, waiting at the end of Bournemouth Pier, and no fin, nothing in sight. Not a whirlpool, just dead calm, ominously dark and never-endingly empty. Ominously dark and never-endingly empty. Though it's easy to remember all the positives when you miss someone, when they are dead, they become superhuman. Sapporo suddenly felt like throwing herself off the pier. The water was calling to her and seemed to be drawing her in. She took no fear about this. She knew her soul had emptied the day she had heard Edwina had died. She knew her soul had emptied the day she heard Edwina had died. It was surreal and like she had entered a different level of existence, almost as if she had died too, but some part of her, like a nook, kept writing the next scene. She had left the stage. Edwina had a funny feeling that something was going to come a cropper and had wrote a letter to Sapporo. This is the letter. Edwina had a funny feeling that something was going to go wrong and wrote a letter to Sapporo. This is the letter. Though the mists of time are moments caught in a star-hazy dust that sure does feel nice, but traps us and reminds us that life is lush if you blush. To miss so much, to scarcely touch, to remiss, to reminisce, to remind, to blind, to bind, to sublime, to reduce, to repeat is all I would choose. Repeat. 1 minute, turn page. Repeat, repeat, repeat. The heat, the beat, the only jot I've known is my mind to be completely blown, to experience delicacy, a gentle breeze, the free air, the gentlest blessings, loving maidens at the rocking, honour my bones and set me free. It's just one glance of a second, a fleeting second look, that's all it took. It seems to mean more than a lifetime's being there. It's I don't care in a stare. But I mean you do, and it's too much, and you're at work and you knew how much more it would mean to go behind, to go between, to sneak a second behind your seaweed curtain. Grab hold of my fin, I'm bringing you in. The end.